Clap twice if you're ready for an amazing experience. If I could at this time, please draw your attention to the screen behind me.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I say your name. Do solemnly swear. Support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. And I will obey. The orders of. The President of the United States. And the orders of. Those officers appointed over me, according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. The armistice that began on the 11th hour, the 11th day, of the 11th month. The timing of this holiday is quite deliberate in terms of historical fact. But somehow it always seems quite fitting to me that this day comes deep in autumn, and the colors are muted and the days seem to invite contemplation. It is, in a way, an odd thing to honor those who died in defense of our country, in defense of us, in wars far away. The imagination plays a trick. We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise, but most of them were boys when they died, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands and fathers and grandfathers. They gave up their chance to be revered old men. They gave up everything for our country, for us. All we can do is remember, I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. In memory of those who gave the last full measure of devotion, may our efforts to achieve lasting peace gain strength. Let us make a vow to our dead. Let us show them by our actions that we understand what they died for. Strengthened by their courage, heartened by their value, and born with their memory. Let us continue to stand for the ideals for which they lived and died.
Absolutely. Round of applause. Good morning, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jeff Thompson. I'm the Activities Director here, proudly serving Coon Rapids High School and its community. I'd like to say and make a special thanks to our community members, especially Chair Anderson, School Board Member Casey Duchesne, Officer Platts, and our many families that are here to support our veterans. A special thank you to our veterans today who have made the ultimate sacrifice to serve our country and uphold the freedoms that we hold so dear. The celebration today is the least that we can do to honor and show our gratitude for all that you've done and sacrificed. In thinking about how we wanted to make this celebration unique to our community and our school, the word that kept coming up was family, cardinal family. Today we are honoring not only those who have sacrificed through their service, we are honoring the family members who served, as well as those family members that sacrificed while their loved ones were in service. Of course, this number is too great, and we will never do justice to your service and your sacrifice, but on behalf of Coon Rapids High School, thank you. We are gathered here today to honor many and to witness the presentation of the flag of our country and our state. At this time, please rise for the presentation of the flag. Please remove your caps. Veterans, you may salute. All other, please place your hand over your heart. Today, the national anthem will be performed by our very own Coon Rapids Choir under the direction of Amy Johnson. Standing in for Miss Johnson today is our very own choir president, Zach Augustin. Our very own high school band will be performing the medleys that coordinate with the appropriate flag.
United States Marine Corps. States Army. The United States Coast Guard. The United States Air Force. The United States Navy. The United States Space Force.
All right, you can be seated. It is with great pride that I get to introduce one of Coon Rapids' very own. Starting our ceremony out today, your very own senior, Josie Haig.
Veterans Day began as Armistice Day on November 11, 1919, remembering the first anniversary of the end of World War I. Congress passed a resolution in 1926 for an annual observance, and November 11th became a national holiday beginning in 1938. President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed legislation in 1954 to change the name to Veterans Day as a way to honor those who have served in all American wars. The day honors military veterans with parades and speeches across the nation. A national ceremony takes place at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Ceremony in Virginia. Today we honor those who have sacrificed so much to uphold the freedoms that we hold so dear. We also honor those whose family members who have served. Their sacrifices sometimes go unnoticed. This past August, I enlisted in the Army National Guard. My first drill will be next month, and I won't be going to basic training until next July. So, considering my lack of experience, I think it's a little bit funny that I'm up here. Nonetheless, I am so grateful to be representing the younger people in the military, especially for my school. 2 years ago, when enlisting wasn't a serious thought of mine, I didn't really know what the military was. I kind of had this idea that if you join the military, that's like your straight shot ticket to the infantry, which, by the way, are the soldiers who are most typically seen in movies. Good thing I did a bit of research before I swore in, right? 2 years ago, if I was asked, what does Veterans Day mean to you? I would have said it's a day to thank veterans. But like I said, I didn't really know what that meant. Being asked the same question, what does Veterans Day mean to me? I feel a lot more confident about answering that. Today isn't the day to thank those who have served. It's an extra opportunity to thank our soldiers. A day to remember their sacrifices, their courage, and their bravery. Anyone who has chosen to serve for our country has made a sacrifice that is bigger than themselves. They decide to sacrifice large parts of their life so the rest of us are able to live freely. And for that, I thank you. After I graduate basic training, I will go to advanced individual training to learn how to be a combat medic specialist. When I decided to be a combat medic, I had many other choices to decide from. Many choices that I didn't know were an option 2 years ago. My point is, a veteran doesn't have to be someone who is directly on the battlefield to be appreciated. I'd like to say, it takes an army to protect every aspect of our freedom. I also want to encourage people to share their stories today. I asked my grandma how long she had served in the Navy, and she told me that she had served for 3 years, 4 months, 24 days, and some odd hours, but who's counting? I then went on to ask her about her experience. I learned what being a woman in service during the Vietnam War was like. I learned where she went to boot camp and how she spent the rest of her 3 years, 4 months, and 24 days in service. If you are ever asked, what does Veterans Day mean to you? Try to give it some thought, rather than just saying it's a day to thank soldiers. Respond by sharing stories. Respond by appreciating those who fight for you. Respond with remembrance for those we have lost or those who have come back a different person. Respond by acknowledging the families of soldiers who have lost people in combat, physically or mentally. Respond with respect for those who fight for you. I personally would like to thank each and every person who has served, is currently serving, or has a family member who has served. I would like to thank you for fighting, while some of you may have lost friends, family, fellow soldiers, limbs, sanity, and the list just keeps going. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for your service. At this time, we would like to recognize some people who are in attendance with us today. First, we would like to welcome staff members from Coon Rapids High School who have served. If you are a staff member from Coon Rapids High School who has served, please stand. If you are a student who has made the choice to serve at the end of your high school career, please stand. If you have a family member who has served, please stand. I would now like to welcome any of our special guests who have came today to please stand. Please give a round of applause to all of our guests today and the sacrifices that they have made for us. I would now like to introduce Russ Sullivan. Russ has been a teacher and a coach at Coon Rapids High School for 19 years. Russ served in the Navy for 7 years. He was stationed on the USS Connolly, USS Mobile Bay, and Naval Air Station in Corpus Christi. He has been to over 15 countries while served in the Navy. While serving on the USS Mobile Bay, he was a part of the Desert Storm conflict in the early 90s. Russ's main job was working in JAG, where he worked in legal and helped prosecute military members on the base and in federal court. Russ Sullivan.
How we doing today, Cardinal Nation? Yeah, thank you everybody for coming out and supporting all these people. It's a great day for a lot of people. We've talked about the sacrifices. Sometimes we, as we grow up, I'm talking to my seniors for a minute, like it's scary leaving high school, and sometimes we have to make choices like, are you ready for college? Are you ready for the workforce? If you're not ready for those situations, that was me, the military. I'm gonna be vulnerable like Mr. Pena says right now and talk about how I grew up, and I was in some difficult situations. I did not live at home my senior year. So I made a choice to leave home because things were difficult. I helped my mom run away because of some abuse that was going on. So living on your own is difficult. So this helped me make a choice to join the military. There's lots of choices to join, obviously, from all the flags we see here and all the people out in our audience. I chose the Navy. One of the reasons I chose the Navy because they talk about seeing the world. I was able to see a lot of things and experience a lot of cultures. So, and that was important to me, to go out and like help people around the world. When we think about the military, a lot of people you see is on movies or social media, it's about fighting and war. But it's way more than that. It's about giving to the world and giving to other people around the nation, around the world, to help people out in times of need. So some of the places I was able to visit, Spain, Italy, Australia, Dubai, Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong, Philippines, Cuba, South America, lived in Japan for 2 years, that was my home base, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. So I was able to like experience like the pleasures of all the countries I went to, but also in those countries, like there's things of need. So I remember like Philippines especially is like a very low poverty country. People didn't have food, they didn't have restrooms. They had to like use the bathroom in a ditch behind their houses. So the struggles that places like that have, and you get to go in, you get to impact people around the world to help them. We would go to orphanages every country we went to and spend time with the kids. And that like filled a need for me, I think, to like help those people out. And I think it like when we want that purpose to come, and it made me not just a better person, but I thought about like what I wanted to be as a husband and a father someday, and now I'm a teacher. So I use all those experiences and everything I do today to make you guys better too and help fill your need. There's a lot of kids in here that have a lot of needs that some of you don't know about. Some of our kids in our building struggle with food every day. It's like some of our classmates are living in a car. Some of them like are in broken families. I know I've worked with the athletes here for many years. Some of our kids couldn't be at practice because they had to go home and take care of a sibling or go to a job to help make money for their family. So, and to me, I love helping those kids, and that makes me proud to be here to help all of you become better people too. So it's way more than what we've all experienced and seen as like, and it upsets me when people think the military is all you're doing is like war and fighting and like killing people and stuff, and it's way more than that to all these people back here and all these people in the front right here. So my challenge to you, all of you in here, is think about what you can do to go out and impact the world, because you don't have to join the military to impact the world. Okay? You can do that in the building every day. You can do it when you walk out these doors. And when you become adults, go out there in the world and help other people out like I got the opportunity to do and like they had the opportunity to do. So that's my challenge to all of you. Before I step down, I want to recognize an individual in the building, and you've probably seen him in the community. I'd like Officer Platts to come up here for a minute. He had no idea I was doing this today either. It's even better. So Officer Platts, I had met him a long time ago when I coached Little League baseball. He would come to Little League and for free on his own time would help do first aid and CPR training with us. He came back last week or 2 weeks ago and helped train our staff again. He's been in the community for 25 years. I saw it on social media. Yes, so that's why I put you on the spot today. So, but here's somebody that went to the military, came back, and he continued to give too. So I appreciate everything he does for our community and gives back not just to like adults and keeping us safe, but also to our youth programs in the cities. So thank you very much. I'd like to present a shirt to Mr. Platts. So our Veterans Day shirts that we ordered, thank you very much for all you do. And thank all you guys.
I would like to now introduce Lieutenant Colonel Ayala. Lieutenant Colonel Ayala is a public servant with over 20 years of experience working alongside the Spanish-speaking community. Lieutenant Colonel Ayala specializes in inclusion and diversity with the Unite Cloud, where he previously served on the board of directors and has facilitated multiple events in the community. Lieutenant Colonel Ayala is also a military intelligence officer with over 18 years of service in the Army Reserves. Lieutenant Colonel Ayala was born in Ixtapa, Nayarit, Mexico, and came to the United States at the age of 12. Once an illegal immigrant and now focusing to be an example, Lieutenant Colonel Ayala is a powerful force in the workplace and uses his positive attitude and tireless energy to encourage others to work hard and succeed. Lieutenant Colonel Ayala has received multiple recognitions throughout his career. For example, Lieutenant Colonel Ayala is a notable alumni for SCSU and was awarded the French National Defense Medal. Lieutenant Colonel Ayala is inspired daily by his wife and their 4 kids. In his free time, he is deeply involved by coaching soccer year-round. Please welcome Lieutenant Colonel Ayala.
Coffee first. Yeah, buenos dias, good morning. Those were really good words. So my story is a lot different than probably 99.9% of the people that serve and are serving right now. I was born in Mexico, in a small town. If you go to Mexico City and draw a straight line to the Pacific, that's where I was born. It's called Ixtapa, Nayarit, Mexico. At the age of 12, right after 6th grade, my parents already lived in California, and I was back home with my grandparents. And they made the amazing decision of bringing me to the United States. So at the age of 12, I crossed the border, the southern border of Tijuana, illegally. It took me about 8 hours to cross that border, made it safe. Lived in California for a few years, met a beautiful lady, and she brought me to Minnesota. But bringing it to the service, every action has a reaction, positive or negative. It is really up to you what you do with that reaction. From the positive reactions, you will not learn a lot. Trust me. It is from those negative reactions that are gonna bring you lessons that you're gonna implement throughout your life and are gonna make you the person that you will become. So bringing it back to a little bit about my life. Like I said, I came to this country illegally, graduated from Roosevelt High, 1995. My parents applied for something called the amnesty. It was passed by Ronald Reagan back in the 80s. Due to that, when I was graduating high school, I was 18 years old. I was not qualified to become a legal resident, a green card holder. So I had to reapply by myself at the age of 18. Still an illegal alien in the United States. So it took me from 95 all the way to April 5th, 2007, I'm sorry. That's when I received my green card through the mail, and I lived in Cold Spring, Minnesota. As soon as I opened that envelope, it took me a few months, but on mid-May, I called Sergeant First Class Yershek from the Minnesota Army National Guard after looking at the phone book before Google, and found her name, found the recruiter's phone number, called her up. I go, hey, this is so-and-so, I want to join. Don't talk to me about bonuses, don't talk to me about anything that has to do with money. I want to give back to the community. I want to give back to the country that gave me the opportunity at that moment to be the person that I was. A few months later, found myself at Fort Leonard Wood as a combat engineer, E3. Oh my God, that was a culture shock. That was a culture change. I was like, what am I doing here? Well, speed it up a little bit. I made an action that created a reaction. I was promoted from an E3 to an E4. A few months later, because of that action, I was demoted back to an E3. Lesson learned. Got promoted again, and walking down through the halls of St. Cloud State, I saw a sign that said ROTC, If you don't know what it is, just keep walking, because they got me, and I became an officer in 2009. I visited many places, similar to Russ. It's been a wonderful experience. I've served with wonderful people. I've met amazing people throughout my career. But it's about giving back. It's not just about you. It's about the person that is coming after you. You already made your career. You already made your life. So it's up to you now to continue that path. Find something that you love to do and do it well. Everything else will come. And I'm going to break protocol for a moment. Si hay alguien aquí que habla español, no se den por vencidos. Las oportunidades existen, están en ustedes si las quieren, pero las tienen que buscar porque nadie se las va a dar. What I just said is, if you're here and you're searching for something, fight for it, look for it, because no one is just going to give it to you. You have to earn it. So it's been a wonderful life, 19 years in service. The Army says that I'm still capable of serving, so I'll keep going on. Thank you for your service. Welcome home, and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Ayala. I would like to now invite you to listen to the Coon Rapids High School Orchestra playing America the Beautiful, directed by Michael Watson. Today, we have an opportunity to celebrate and honor America's veterans for their devotion, patriotism, selfless service, and sacrifice on behalf of us all. However, it shouldn't end today. It's important that we continue to thank them each day. For it is their loyalty to our country and their own great courage which have made us what we are today, and what we've been for more than 2 centuries, the world's indispensable and indivisible nation. the land of the free and the home of the brave, a beacon of hope in an oft-troubled world. Regardless of which military branch our veterans have served in, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Space Force, or Coast Guard, this day belongs to all of them. Now please rise, remain respectful and quiet while the CRHS band plays taps.
Thank you to Coon Rapids Cardinal Bruce Hope for that performance. At this time, Cardinal Nation, please let's give our veterans and their families one more round of applause. Veterans, thank you for your service. Families, thank you for your sacrifice. We are going to conclude our ceremony in a second. I would like to invite all of our veterans up to our atrium conference room for donuts and coffee, a small token for the time that you've sat here. Blood sugar is probably a little low, need a little caffeine. Students, let's show our veterans how we get to class on time. Here we go, let's go, third hour, let's go.
You need some coffee?
Yeah. What's that?
You need some coffee?
I know.